Yo, what is up, dudes and dudettes? Your fellow neighbor JaxBlade here, just getting my morning walk in. And today I wanted to talk to y'all about a conversation I had last night with my friend, which I was like, this is actually a really great conversation. I love this. And so we were talking about Vegeta and how many lessons you can learn from Vegeta, just like, life lessons, because like he's changed so much since we first saw him. Like before, he was like this literally pure evil dude who was just like, I love killing people, I love destroying planets, I love just like, doing this thing. That's my thing, that's my shit. Even though I was a slave, I enjoyed like murdering people because I was that evil. And then he went from that to anti-villain to anti-hero to full-on hero. Like now he's just grumpy. But like, what was great about Vegeta's growth that you can learn in real life is his acceptance to ask for help later on. So for example, when Vegeta was training, like I mentioned this briefly in the Baki video, when he was training for the androids, he was just like, no, I'm gonna do this by myself. I don't need any help, all right? I'm just gonna like work out by myself. What did Goku do? 100 times gravity, I'm gonna do like 3 times as much, all right? I'm the Prince of all Saiyans, you can't do this, stuff like that. He would just be like, he is his own hype man. But then, for years and years in Z, like when we only had Z, it was always like he could never catch up to Goku. He could never like get that extra like edge over Goku. Goku was always surpassing him, but it was like I talked about before, where Goku's whole thing is, I love just training. I love betterment. I love doing this thing. Well, Vegeta was forcing himself to, just so he would not be weaker than Goku. And so like that was the whole thing about it. That's what it was like, oh Kakarot, I will not let you beat me and shit like that. But like he was always just, he had the wrong mindset with it. Now fast forward to Super, and even though I will admit I don't care about a lot of things in Dragon Ball Super, like there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, that's so bad, but there's a lot of concepts that I think are really well done. For example, Vegeta's growth of how much stronger he's become was initially because, like, okay, of course it was the anger thing, but it was ironically because he set his ego aside. Now, you know what I mean by that is Vegeta in Z was always just like, I'm solo, training by myself, I don't need any help. And then in Dragon Ball Super, he was like, I need to become a god level, like, character. I need you to train me. And so he asked for help. He gave some food, but he asked for help, and then he was able to train. And look what happened. He got so much stronger because he set his ego to the side and was able to like learn other things to improve himself. And I think that's just like a beautiful lesson of just like, putting the ego to the side and like realizing your way is not the end all be all. And then like you learn more and then you learn more. And then we see how far he came. Like what happened after that? Started training with Goku. And then how much did he grow? He grew a lot. They were like comparable for a while. And then like, Goku got his like freaking Danny Phantom mode. Then it was like, oh, is Vegeta getting left in the air? Then it was like, oh no, Vegeta's got this freaking purple Saiyan bullshit ultra ego thing now. And it's like, okay, so they're pretty much comparable to each other till we see otherwise. And it was all because he actively went out there and like tried different things instead of just doing the same old because his ego would not let him like get help from anywhere else. And that's something we see all the time in real worlds where people are so primal, like they're so not primal, tribal with their beliefs. They're so tribal with like, oh, this is the end all be all way. If you aren't doing it this way, then you're wrong. It's like how many times have I talked about this? There are people who are like, I only lift weights. I only do calisthenics. I only do compound lifts. I only do bands. I only do sprints. I only do jogging. I only do CrossFit. I only do gymnastics. I only do strongman. I only do this. And the thing is, like, if that's what you love, like you love to do that sort of thing, and it makes you feel like alive and it makes you feel like so passionate, that is great. And you stick with it. I'm all about finding something that lets you stay massively consistent with like your training. Fucking planes, man. Okay, but like, be massively consistent with your training and be like, find something that gives you purpose in life. That is completely fine. But the problem that so many people get into is they begin to think that their way is the only way, and then they completely diss all the other like training styles. They diss every other type of training style. All right, I'm gonna go back because there's a big ass spider there. And so they diss all the other like types of training there are. And it makes you just go like, wow, you could be so much better if you incorporated this or this. Or they like talk about like a superiority complex, because I talked about that before in my superhero training, what's better, weights or calisthenics. I'm just like, just do both. Like, I don't see why people like, you know, don't do both. Like, you can incorporate both those things that will help you improve, and it'll just make you a stronger person overall and make you a better, more functional person overall. But this goes for multiple things. It doesn't even have to be fitness. You can do this with like so many other things where it's just like, oh, I've only been doing it this way because that's how I've been taught, but I can't open my mind to like try other things because I'm just like so conditioned to believe that my way was the correct way. But like, that's why I have a certain quote that I love from Bruce Lee, where it is absorb what's useful, discard what's not, and then add what's distinctly your own. So it's like, you know, learn something and then see like what works and what's bullshit. And then you go, all right, I like that, but I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna, you know, just add some of my own flavor. I'm gonna add some of my own flavor to it. And this goes with like so many things. And I love that. I love that concept. But it's just, there's so many people who get into this mindset of like, I am better than every single person because of this one thing I do, this one thing I'm really good at. Because humans want to feel special. That's the sad truth. Like, every person wants to feel special. They want to feel like, oh, they're unique in some way. And so if they're like, oh, I only do this, which is why I have this, and this is why I'm better than you, or something like that, it just sort of makes you go like, well, dude, okay, well, I do this and that, so technically that would mean I'm superior to you. And it's just like, no. And I've seen debates like that between certain people, but like that thing of just constantly setting your ego to the side and learning, like consistently learning, that will help you grow the most in this life, like Vegeta did. And I think that is just a beautiful, beautiful lesson. Like, as a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend about this because I got this question on my Instagram at JaxBlade. You can follow me on my Instagram. But like, there was this question that was asked, do you think a boxer could be technically the best fighter in the world? And my honest opinion is, I think a boxer can be a very great fighter, but not the best fighter in the world, because again, all they have are their hands. So like, let's say you're like a really god tier boxer, a great boxer, right? Let's say you go against someone who is a good boxer, or someone who is a decent boxer, but they're also really great at like wrestling and Muay Thai. So at that point, it's like, okay, I know everything you're gonna do to attack me, but I also have these in my arsenal, and I know how to defend against what you're gonna throw at me. You can't defend what I'm gonna throw at you. Like, you can't defend like these leg kicks. You can't defend of me slamming you to the ground with a wrestling thing. You can't defend against like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing of like a lock or something like that, right? And so it's just one of those things, like, you know, not trying to be like, you know, the Baki thing. Because again, I love boxing. You know me on this channel. I have preached about how much I love boxing. I think it's a great workout. I think it's a great thing. But like, you know, like if you're a boxer or stuff like that, it is one of those situations where I say it's limited. But again, it's like, I say that with anything where you only know one style, right? Because like, if you only know one style, it's just like, okay, so like, let's say you're really good at grappling, but you have no hands, all right? So you go against someone who is decent at grappling but also has hands, then it's just like, oh, you see how that goes? Damn, the sun is messing up my shot. You know, let's walk this way. But I really like that concept. I really love that concept of just like, you know, learning, because there are so many times in my life where I let my ego get the best of me. I let my ego get the best of me, and I was just like, man, how dare this person do this? I'm better at this. Like, this was like in my early days. And then like, I actually put it aside, and then like I listened and I learned, and I was like, that is very useful. You know what? I can do it, but I don't like how they do this. So let me modify it like for me. And it helped a lot, helped tremendously. But yeah, that is what I wanted to talk to y'all today about. If you feel the same way at all, like if you've ever felt like you had your ego checked, which is so funny. We're talking about ego when Vegeta's new form is called Ultra Ego, but we all know how that went for him. Like, he got it through getting help. But let me know in the description box down below what you think. I'm working on a Mega Spider-Man video at the moment, like my Mega TMNT video. Also got a new program coming out called Hybrid Theory, follow along videos of bodyweight calisthenics and stuff like that. And I named it, of course, after Linkin Park, stuff like that. It's going to be super cool when I release it. Like, I put a lot of work into it. I've been started it last year in July, so it's been a lot of work coming. So I hope you check it out when it's live. And again, you know, be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe. And if you made it this far in the video, type in like ego no more. Ego no more. That lets me know who stayed to the end. And I'm curious, like, if you've had like your ego set to the side where it's like, I have to learn this and then like master this sort of thing, because like I just think it helps so much and helps you with so much growth like Vegeta's gone through. But like I always say, keep calm, booyah on, and don't forget, moment tie. I'm gonna head back home and get some breakfast. Turn off.